All right, I think I'm live. I don't know if you can hear me. It looks like you can. So let's get on with this. Hey, everybody. I am kind of all alone today. PJ and Lindsay are doing a family outing, family trip. They traveled off to California with all their family. I mean, they rounded everyone up: cousins, aunts, uncles, and kids and grandkids, and maybe a pet or two. I don't know. But I digress. I don't know that they managed to get a podcast out yesterday, or a podcast, a live stream out last Friday because I was out delivering my kids to their grandparents for their spring break. So, all that aside, so glad to be with you today here on Live from the Blue Room from the RV Small Talk podcast. We are making so many changes around here. I think the lighting is all screwed up. I didn't know if I was going to have this ready to go in enough time to get this going because we mounted a TV over there, mounted a TV up there. Hey, Facebook user, finally I got a taker. But chances are you're in the RV Small Talk community group, so the privacy settings there don't say who you are. So wherever you're watching from, it looks like I have 3 viewers so far. Wherever you're watching from, go ahead and tell me who you are and where you're watching from, what your physical location is. So if you're working, if you're at home, if you're camping, where is that place? Take, for instance, I'm at Princess Craft RV in Round Rock, Texas. That's where I'm watching from, or streaming from. So today, I thought that I would find a little bit of RV fun facts, maybe some kind of trivia stuff, because that's the sort of thing that we get into and whatnot, and I bring it up. But if you have something, hey, Mike, how's it going? Let me see. My mouse is weird with this, using the television as a monitor. There you are. Okay, so some RV fun facts. Like I said, I'm going to bring up some of these things, and maybe we'll pause on some of them and just say, wouldn't have guessed that, or it's not been my experience, something along those lines. I've grabbed these facts from, let me see if I can tell you where I grabbed them from. RV Helpful Guides. All right, the author is Charles Joseph, and he's an RV enthusiast. I'll have to find the website that it actually came from because it didn't usually print on the page. I digress. RV fun facts for your Live from the Blue Room Friday. I tried to grab someone from sales staff to help me out today, but they are busy. All right. Fun fact. Over 25 million Americans go RVing every year. According to Recreational Vehicle Industry Association, RVIA, those 25 million people help account for 2.2% of the entire U.S. GDP. There's Nikki. Boop. Hey, Nikki. So, over 25 million Americans, and I think that it's actually more now because of recent years. I didn't grow up around RVing at all. You've probably heard that in some live streams or podcasts. I didn't grow up around it at all. I had no idea that RVing was a thing. I knew that there were RVs out there, but they were kind of a fringe aspect of my life growing up. I didn't have any friends that I knew of whose families had RVs. My grandparents had a travel trailer, and I guess they used it sometimes, but I never knew. To me, it was always just that thing sitting on the ranch. So I had no idea. I'm still blown away that there are that many RVs out there being used. I'm blown away that there's that many RV dealerships. It's just wild. So next fun fact. All right. More Americans live in an RV full time. That sounds like a huge number. They say here that of the 11 million Americans who own RVs, over 1 million call their RVs their year-round home. So it sounds like a huge number, but then I think about just how many, in California, let me pull that up. it sounds like a huge number, but then I think about if there are that many RVs out there being used that I was previously unaware of. I guess it makes sense that many would be going full time. We got so many people. I started as a kid. This is from Wesley. I started as a kid in a very primitive pop-up camper in 1968. That's awesome, and that I kind of wish I had more of that experience. Haha, it's Lindsay. Oh, y'all, I'm about to get abused. So, so yeah, I wish that there was just more camping in general in my growing up, but having more of a primitive pop up experience. I have my wife's family. There's some of my brothers and sister-in-laws. They have pop up campers, campsite, the whole works, and all that. And our kids are getting to have that experience. I think that's awesome. Wish I had that in my backlog. So I work in an RV dealership now. It looks like just a blue wall. But hey, Steve. Oh, here comes Steve. Here comes Steve. I'm live.
Are you really?
I am. Yeah, you want to join in? Y'all, I might actually get someone to take her. Welcome to the show.
Hello,
Steve. So if you want to stare someone down in the eyes, you gotta look at the camera. But if you want to see what they're commenting, you have to look on the screen. So I'm just basically kicking around these attributes that I found online. So I was just talking about more than 1 million Americans live in their RVs full time.
and growing.
I wouldn't have believed it had I not lived here and been here working
Been in
here.
the business?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. If RV Small Talk is logged in, that might be PJ. I know Lindsay's
Do we
watching.
just stand up straight, or what do we,
You
what do we
can't.
do
You're
here?
like broken with your bad knee. Okay, here's another factoid I picked up. So let me read it out and see if any thoughts for the live viewing audience. 11% of households headed by a 35 to 54-year-old owns an RV. No way I would have believed that.
10%? Over 10%?
Yeah.
Really?
There is no way I would have believed that. I still find it hard to believe.
I wonder if it skews more towards rural communities as opposed to suburbs. I mean, I live in the suburbs, and I know quite a few people that have RVs, but I wouldn't think of it as near 10%.
No, it's just a hard figure.
Right.
And of course they're including teardrops, pop-up trailers, RVs,
Right.
Class Bs, Class A's.
Sure.
I still find it hard to believe.
They include just tents?
I mean, maybe because those are easy to pick up.
Right.
So watching, would you believe that 11% of households headed by a 35 to 54-year-old in the U.S. owns an RV? That number seems high.
Yes.
All right. Number 4. But 53% of millennials are also interested in RV ownership. I think maybe if we talk about, okay, I've got this weird like Dwayne Rock Johnson thing going on here.
Is that the people's eyebrow? Is that what
The people's
that is?
eyebrow. Maybe if you include van lifers, I think that the van life kind of nomadic lifestyle, or if they're converting a van or something like that, I think that now that number starts to make more sense to me now.
Well, the influencers definitely skew that way. The question is, how do you gauge interest? Is it just, oh, that's or it's something I actually want to do?
Right. And when the social media age, so many of the van lifers, they're going, yes, absolutely for the experience,
Right.
but they want to share the experience visually or through video or whatever. And so it becomes a bit of a dual focus thing. I'm going to have the experience, but the experience might not be 100% worth having if I can't Instagram it.
Right, if I can't let everybody know.
Whereas for me, it looks like I'm overdriving the microphone. Let me pull that down a little bit. For me, and this is maybe a bit of a frustration for Lindsay and PJ, because we create content here. When I leave
that
here,
what this is?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and we do the podcast and whatnot. But whenever I leave here, I so often just want to pull out a camera and video it. I internally, I just don't want to do that.
I think that's just a different mindset of being born with the camera in your hand and not. I mean, the kids these days, they are born literally with the camera in their hand and they're used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they come out of the womb, dial a doctor.
Uber babies, is that what it
Uber
is?
babies. We deliver it all now. All right, number 5. The very first RV was built in 1904. It was constructed by hand atop an automobile and could sleep 4 adults in individual bunks. Other amenities included a radio, an icebox, and incandescent lighting.
I'm surprised there wasn't a covered wagon that was an RV or something.
Yeah, that's where I start to take issues with this, is because we have to define things.
Right.
Because I think gypsies have been doing it for eons in Europe.
Yes. I mean, the word caravan is older than.
I mean, if you created any kind of structure, okay, take for instance, way back when you had those little, I forget what you call them, but it's basically this little platform with a tent on it that 4 people got on post and carried you around. Could you call that an RV?
Technically, you can live on there. It's your sleeping chamber. I'm sure it was also the restroom in the dream.
Yeah, I don't know. So if you're going with something that looks like a predecessor to what we sell today,
right?
Maybe so.
Something on wheels, maybe.
Maybe on wheels. Yeah. And also, it was built atop an automobile and could sleep 4 adults in 1904.
Right, Wesley.
Small adults. All right, here we go. Wesley says, I've got my screens to where I have to scroll to the side to get up to that monitor. I've got to fix this. All right, so Wesley, I'll pop your comment up there. Henry Ford and Thomas Edison were early RV car campers. That is true. I've heard that. Henry Ford and some of his friends, possibly Thomas Edison amongst them, would go out and kind of pioneer this lifestyle for being such industrialists and all that. Okay, 6. In 1915, the country was wowed by Roland Conklin's motorhome. Wowed by his name. Roland Conklin, an engineer from New York, was responsible for kicking off RV fever in America way back in 1950. His custom-built Gypsy van, I'm going to have to look that up later, Gypsy van could sleep his entire family and featured an electric generator way back in 1950. A full kitchen, a phonograph, various small appliances, and even a roof garden.
A phonograph.
And a roof garden. I'm going to have to look this up because it sounds like something that you would find at the World Fair.
Absolutely. Where would that have been?
I don't know. So if you're watching and you're like, you know what, I can listen instead of watch, go ahead and open a Google tab and look up Ronald. No, I'm saying Ronald.
Yeah.
This is what happens when I wear my contacts so I don't get glares on Fridays. I can't read as well with my contacts. Roland Conklin into his RV. All right, number 7. RVs took off after the Great Depression. During the Great Depression, I don't think I need to read the description. I believe it. Right? You believe it?
It became more mobile once there were internal combustion engines that were readily available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Suddenly people had some wiggle room in their finances. They wanted to see stuff. And I think that people in general became very mobile during the Depression. So it started just this mobile spirit because of like the Dust Bowl.
It probably started with people living in their vehicles as they were traveling out to California and across
just
the country.
trying to find work.
Right.
And things like that. So I that one is not so much of a head scratcher to me.
No, that one makes sense.
All right.
We're not debunking any of these.
No.
Is that what we're supposed to be doing?
I don't know if that is. It looks like I lost number 8. It's not here. So I'm going to jump to number 9.
That one's a mystery.
Just cut off. And it looks like the second half of it looks interesting. If you're buying a new Class A, B, or C motorhome, expect to pay upwards of $50,000 for the most basic models. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
If you're buying Class A, B, or C now in 22, I would expect it to be more like minimum 70, 80
I would think. I mean, just
for a drivable.
you can't find a truck by itself for under 50 these days. So
You're right.
You're gonna find a RV on top of a truck for less than 50.
Yeah, so
That makes
I
sense to
think
me.
the basic models that I saw at the show about a month ago at the
They're
Austin
all
Convention
80,
Center.
90 to start.
Yeah, I think the most stripped down was right around there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on a Ford chassis, not like a Mercedes chassis or
Right.
something like that. So,
That makes sense to me.
all right, but towable trailers can cost just $8,000. Okay, okay.
What year is this? When was this printed?
I was looking when I first started because usually it prints off like the URL at the bottom,
Right.
but it didn't. So our printer messed with me.
Sure
I'll look it
didn't
up.
change numbers?
I'll put it somewhere. So yeah, I was going to say, but towable trailers can cost just $8,000. Okay. Yes.
You
Yes.
can find something for $8,000. Yes.
You can find some basic standard canvas side pop-ups around that range.
Mm-hmm. Little motorcycle trailers.
Motorcycle trailers. They're small. They aren't full featured.
Sure. The most basic teardrops these days will start around 13.
That we see through here for sure.
Yeah.
I think that there are some places you can go kind of factory direct. You have to find them online.
Right.
You have to go to them, and they'll say, "Here's the shell with wheels.
Correct.
If you want to take it like that, boom, $8,000.
Would you like plumbing?
But if you want to build it out,
Propane?
yeah,
Yes.
okay." The RV industry has an annual economic impact of $114 billion.
Worldwide or in the U.S.?
I think this is all U.S. centric.
Wow, that's a big number, but
That includes over $20 billion in RV sales and service, plus over $25 billion generated by campgrounds and recreational sites. If you start including all the aspects of RV life,
yeah, everything on. I mean, service and everything else. I'm assuming is all in that.
yeah, I think it would be hard to really get anything close to accurate on like people who overpay for just overnighting at
Right.
little Cracker Barrels. Because
Right.
a lot of our people who are RVing, they'll overnight at Cracker Barrel. They'll do dinner that night and breakfast in the morning to basically thank the business for making it available. That's economic impact.
Or Walmart shop and
Yeah.
absolutely.
And though RVers tend to be thrifty and budget pretty well, they tend to be pretty kind with people who help them live their life.
They are. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing is go out there, leave less than you brought.
Right. I'm not seeing any more comments, so pop in a comment if you have any. Let's see. Over 548 million worth of RVs are sold in California each year. Now we're getting pretty granular. The next
Can
most
we get that out of here, or is that just California?
Well, yeah. So out of California, but it says the next most profitable states are Texas at 424 million and Florida at 306 million. I believe that those figures,
Yes.
or at least the rankings there, not necessarily I believe California sells more units. I think that their prices are higher.
Their prices are higher. There is a lot of land in California, so I believe the camping space there,
More public land too.
More public
more
land.
access.
and there's just more population.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are the most populous state, so it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense that they would be towards the top of any type of list like that.
No, I look at there aren't that many West Coast builders. Most of them still come more from the Elkhart area.
Mhm.
So just getting units to California to sell is going to be
It raises those numbers.
raises those numbers pretty significantly, or at least that's my thought. So
I'm sure it's a multi-pronged.
yeah. Pull that up so I can see. There we go. Nikki says they
Hey.
stayed at Cracker Barrel. Yeah, and by the way, you guys are on a trip right now, so keep posting. I'm kind of watching as you pop up in my news feed. All right, but Hawaii brings in just 3.5 million. Okay, that baffles me a little. RVing in Hawaii? Okay, maybe Class B. Small trailers?
I bet it's got to be very expensive to get them over there
It's gotta be.
because they have to be fully built and then put on a ship.
So this might
They
be.
have to be freighted and then freighted.
This might actually be just 20 to 25 units sold every year, but it totals 3.5 million.
Yeah, each one is $1 million. Each one is 100,000.
Yeah. Now, I think the
I wonder what the
scenery-
camping is like there. Do you think they have a lot of RV campgrounds? I know they're island nations, so very small, limited space.
You know, this brings to mind that our friend on the podcast, Kate Dunbar, actually used to work for a group. I'm trying to think if it was RV Life or someone. And she actually went to Hawaii to basically review campgrounds out there one time. So they're
At
there.
least something to check out.
All right. RVs depreciate the most in their first year. Okay, moving on. The most expensive RV in the world cost at the time of this posting $3 million.
Woo!
Marchi Mobile's Element Palazzo Superior is a mansion on wheels and has a price tag to match. I have a picture of that. The RV is 45 feet long and features an expandable roof deck, a king-size bed, a rainfall shower, ultra-modern appliances, a wine cabinet, and glamorous lounge.
Glamorous. I bet it is.
I bet it is. And you know what? I don't want to be anywhere near this thing.
I bet I don't have clothes nice enough.
I mean, I think I would just feel like I'm in the wrong zip code just to be, within viewing
I
distance.
think
of this
I'd
thing.
have to buy such high-end camping gear to go in it. I'd have to mini pearl it all so I could return it.
Nice. All right. Believe it or not, check this one out. Believe it or not, Class B motorhomes get the best gas mileage.
Okay. All right.
Sure.
Why are they better than Class C's, I wonder?
Class C, let's see, cut off again.
They're in that, they
Yeah.
hit that middle
It
spot
hit that
where
middle spot.
engine and weight size and transmission and everything just works
Maybe
out
so.
better on those than they do
Yeah.
on Class C. And Class A's makes sense, they're just huge.
Yeah, and most of them have a very flat front, so it's like
Right.
a
Big
huge
wall.
brick just kind of pushing through the air.
Makes sense.
Class A RVs get the worst gas mileage on average. Yeah. So here's a breakdown. It says Class A worst gas mileage at 7 to 13 miles to the gallon. Class B 18 to 25, and Class C 14 to 18. Now this is motorized centric list.
Right.
This is not really giving credence to the bumper pools and stuff
Right.
like that, truck campers. I will say that with my old truck towing a kind of smallish trailer, because it was a weenie truck. You remember my old 6-cylinder city slicker Ram. I remember towing an Intech Discover with that, and I was averaging 4 or 5 miles a gallon. Yeah. And the transmission hated it so much that it made me pull over to the side of the road so it could collect its thoughts.
I had a similar Ram truck that I had to pull over on the side of the road because I was running out of gas on a trip.
Were you towing the RPods at the time?
It's an RPod, yes.
Down to the coast?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but you moved up to 8-cylinder. I moved up
It was an
to
8-cylinder at that point.
It was?
Still didn't make it. It was just one of the older ones.
older one, maybe with the more fuel efficient gearing in the back.
That and the I think the previous Rams were just heavier. Because I've looked underneath my new one and
And there's
it's
nothing
much
there?
more streamlined. Everything's clean. I'm like, well, this is a different truck altogether. So
Yeah.
I think they just improved
Yeah.
it quite a bit.
Okay. All right, Phil and Judy
Amazona.
just got a big shot. Nice. Oh, we did.
Well, that sounds awesome.
Cool. We'll take a shout out.
Always.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right.
I want to go to Tamazona.
Do you? I'll talk
Sounds
to
awesome.
my people.
Right?
I might know a couple.
Do you know them?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Average lifespan of RV is 15 years. What's it?
That's probably pretty close, depending on I mean, it all depends on the owner. Maintenance is key.
Mm-hmm.
Many owners, or not many, but a significant amount of owners that do not perform the routine maintenance that
Yeah.
probably brings that number down.
Right.
Maintaining seals is something that once you're done camping, it's like, I'm already done camping.
Right.
Why do I want to do this? Like paying for your meal after you eat. I'm not hungry anymore. Why am I paying for all this food?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's fair. 15 years,
Yeah.
because the life cycle is brand new, first user. They probably help on it 2 to 5 years, move to the next thing because they love it so much. It probably has a second family, and then that third family or fourth family might be the one who takes it to the deer lease.
And if you think about it, that's probably about right. Typical, even in a home, residential appliances,
Right.
about 15 years for a fridge, an oven, a furnace, a water heater, an air conditioner.
Right.
If you get 15 years, pretty happy.
And to be honest, a lot of those, even though they might have some personality after that point, someone will still pick it up and use it, right?
As long as they work
It just
somewhat.
kind of falls off the grid of being
Right.
calculated. 20% of RVers use solar panels to power their RVs. No, they don't.
Not to power them.
Right.
To charge the batteries.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah, they charge batteries, and batteries help them some.
That's correct.
Um,
Your 12-volt power system in your camper is very important, but it does not control the big three.
so I think that they probably were overgeneralizing this. At the time of this publication, 20% of RVers use solar. They probably went by cells. Like 20% of RVers have solar panels, so therefore they must be using them.
I'm betting that the
You
person
think?
who wrote this article or wrote these questions did not realize exactly what they were stating when they said power. I think they just meant that they have them
Right.
to help power, which makes a lot more sense than that.
Yeah. Okay. 54% of RVers bring their pets, and 90% bring
I
their
hope so.
kids.
I want to meet that 10%.
Yeah. Well,
Get out of
yeah.
here. You guys aren't coming camping with me.
This is a no-brainer, but 54% of RVers bring their pets. I think that's because the vast majority, I think, of RVers will bring their dogs, but there are other pets out
That
there.
they can't bring.
Right. Or people who have cats. We've seen enough cats travel.
Right.
However, cat owners are less likely.
And probably not bringing your fish or your
No.
gerbils
I've
or
seen some
hamsters
birds
or
travel.
right.
There's some snakes.
Yeah, I wonder what percentage of dog owners bring their dogs as opposed to pet owners.
I
bring their
think
pets.
that's got to be a high percentage because dogs just seem to be made for it.
Exactly.
So, all
Oh,
right.
I do love that new commercial. I think it's a Toyota commercial with the cat, or the GMC commercial with the cat. This guy's got the new GMC with that 6-position tailgate,
Mhm.
but he's got this cat that keeps running off and like jump in the water and like save a drowning baby and stuff. And the guys are like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!" And he's like, "The tailgate?" And they're like, "No, the cat." And he's like, "He's just a cat. Look at this tailgate."
You don't know what you have. I'm gonna have to look it up. Utah, California, and Texas are among the most popular RV destinations. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Inland.
so I'm going to go to Arkansas this year, and then I think I'm going to try for Utah in 2023. I don't know. That's a long drive from there.
With the Discover.
Yeah, it's a long drive, but I do want to try to camp up there sometime.
Yeah, break it up, do a multi-day.
Mm-hmm.
Stop along the way somewhere where you can just do a day trip and then move on
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah, so I'll probably take a week and do that because as anyone who's paid attention to the podcast, I typically have been either in Texas or in Colorado. So I'm branching out this year by trying Arkansas,
Right.
and then I'll hit some other things that are just interesting.
Sounds wonderful.
So where are you going this year?
I do. I still do a overnight canoe trip with my buddies from high school once a year.
Mm-hmm.
That is up at the Delaware between Pennsylvania and New Jersey, New York.
It's
area.
overnight, so you're camping, but are you tent camping?
We tent camp. Yes.
Oh,
So we
okay. So
we
you're packing it.
It's a 30-mile trip. We get up there morning of with all of our gear, all dry packed in buckets and dry bags and everything else. We park at the bottom. They pick us up in a van, drive us up to the top, and we load it all in canoes,
cool.
and then camp on our way down. It's really fun.
How many years have you been doing that?
Actually, this year should be 30.
No kidding.
1992. Not every year. We've missed a couple of years here and there, but yeah, about 30 years.
Now you're healing your knee right now. You think you'll be ready?
I'm hoping this knee will be ready in a couple of weeks, so yes. But yeah, that won't be until closer to the middle of the summer, hopefully.
Okay.
So.
But so that's tent camping.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you might take an RV out this year?
That'll depend.
Now I kind of got rid of your stable of rentals.
I know.
Well, that you helped me with that.
Yes, I did. Help
We
with that.
we needed to cycle out that fleet, and we had nothing to cycle in. By cycling out, then we took them out of rental rotation and then cleaned them up, fixed them up, and still Steve included,
We move them along.
sold them.
Find them homes.
So I have to figure something out.
Yeah.
Because you've gone down to the beach a couple times, I think.
Yes, we
fishing.
go down. I've got a friend that has a plot down in Sargent.
Okay.
So that's
That
nice.
is not a big place, y'all.
No, it's unincorporated. It might not show up on some maps.
Right.
But it's wonderful. It's a nice little town, right down at the Gulf. Go out there and go fishing. It's wonderful.
Are you pretty good at catching things at the Gulf? Because I have no luck.
Well, I go in the bay. They're right in, well, not the bay, but the canals.
Mm-hmm.
So in Sargent, you've got basically the land ends, then there's a canal, and then you have the big sandbar.
Sure.
So I do it in the canal, and I've done pretty well. I've never come back empty. Caught some flounder down there, some redfish.
Cool. And you're likely to actually,
A lot of crap.
well, you're actually likely to bring it back and make something culinary out of it.
I will. I will make
Because I have family, probably not watching, that will fish sun up to sundown and catch all the things, but they will not eat fish.
All
And it's
right.
kind of weird to me.
No, I sit down, I bring it back, cook it up. It's wonderful. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I mean,
know.
fishing is fun, but the eating is also good.
Right. That's actually it. That's all of them. Do you have any weird factoids? Any trivia?
On top of that, oh my goodness. I didn't come prepared.
Yeah. So
I was just walking by.
Yeah, I know. Flagging in. Hey, you made the mistake of opening the door.
I acknowledged you.
So, before I sign off, let me go ahead. I'm going to walk around here. I'm going to pick up the camera and give you guys kind of an update of where this room is at, because some of you have been paying attention to the build out of this room. Cody, who you've heard on the podcast before, he helped me hang some televisions in here just a little bit ago, which we'll use for training and presentation over there, and I'll use this one as a monitor while we're making content. So let me pick up the camera and just give you an idea. All right, here we go. So that's Steve. He's not a permanent fixture in this room. We let him move around.
I can rotate.
And then there's the big TV for training purposes and meetings and whatnot. That's where we'll station PJ back in the corner.
PJ's new lookout.
Yeah. That's the boxes from the TV. And then that's going to be the production. You'll see that I have, you probably get an Inception.
Oh, no.
And then this will be Lindsay's desk. That's Lindsay's mini fridge. And my workspace over here. So it's still coming around. We're going to have a whiteboard instead of big post-it notes. So there'll be a whiteboard there. So let me bring this back.
A white board right now.
It is. I'm going to bring this back. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us for this live from the Blue Room. And Steve, thanks for happening in. I think that I have you on tap to help me record.
You'll see me soon.
Yeah, we'll record a podcast because Steve's been with Princess Craft for 10 years. So lots of Princess Craft and iterations and changes and products have grown up.
Oh, yes.
So, so I'll record something. So in the meantime, thank you so much everyone for joining us. And Nikki, you also have a great week and be safe out there as y'all are wrapping up your travels and all that. Everybody, we will see you